health issue. And I tell people all the time, a lot of homeless people have mental health issues because they got family. Everybody got family. But I'm gonna tell you what happens when you get a lot of homeless people. They don't get along with their family members because they got stuff out of whack, and the family members don't want to be dealing with them. Then they may not have a job because they can't deal with the job effectively. And so there's a
Right.
lot of mental health issues that ends up forcing them to be out on the street. And I know that because I got family members that you couldn't put in the house because they tear something up or fight somebody and they just wouldn't do what you need them to do. So you said, well, look, if you're not going to control yourself in my house, then you're going to go out in the street. And they go right out in the street.
The guest that we bringing on tonight, he is no stranger to Meet the World Image Solutions. He's been a part of the Black History Month Literary Weekend. I think I've had him in the author lounge a couple of times, and he's back. He has a new book that he's going to tell you guys all about. So without any further ado, hey Jacqueline, how you doing? Without any further ado, I would love for you all to welcome my friend, Mr. Omar Tyree. Hello.
Hey, how you doing? It's Monday Night Football, and I'm on the podcast right before the game, so we're gonna have a good
I
time.
know
I'm
you
excited.
said that too.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we will have you off the show in time for you to watch Monday Night Football because I'm going to be watching that game myself. So it's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how are you tonight?
Well, I just gotten back from Philadelphia. I had to take my youngest son up there because he hasn't been back home in Philadelphia in 13 years. And so I had to go ahead and introduce him to all the relatives that he didn't, remember and whatnot, hadn't seen in a while. And we got stuck in traffic on the way back. So it was
Oh,
like a dozen hours trying to get back. So I was wore out last night. So I'm in mellow mode right now because it was a late night last night. So I'll probably recuperate by tomorrow.
I can believe that. You did a lot, but I tell you, you did a really important thing by taking your son back to meet his relatives. I think
Yeah,
right now we're in a world in a time where we're so busy that we
yeah.
can be in the same city with our family members and
Yep.
not know them
Yeah.
because we're always doing so many things.
Yeah. So I had to make sure I did that and introduce them. I got about 5 to 7 family members we couldn't grab because they had stuff to do and I couldn't catch them. We only had like a weekend. So now we got 5 more we got to see next time we go up there.
Oh, there you go. So talk to me about this new book you have out.
Yeah, control. Everybody keeps asking me about film, and it's very hard for writers to, produce films because we don't have that type of money. We got a little bit of money, but when you start talking about filmmaking, it can get expensive, particularly with our type of content, because you're talking about, content that's on a higher level when we're writing and we got these, characters and all these scenes. And it's not like you're making something up where you can think about the economics of it. When you're writing books, you're not thinking about how much it's going to cost. You're trying to write the hottest book. And then when the film people look at it, oh, this is going to be expensive. You got all this stuff in there. And so it becomes expensive. And so it's real hard for us to produce films. And so I was out of control with that. And I couldn't get the control I was used to with books. And so, after X amount of years of trying and trying and trying, just the frustration sets in. And so I said, it's a lot of people that want to control things and are not in control. And the more you talk about it, people say, look, the stuff I can't control, I just let God control it and I just let it out of my hands because it can stress you out. And then people talk about mental health all the time. And when you can't control the things you want to control, you can mess up your mental health with the frustration and then trying to push people into things you want them to do. And then you mess up your interpersonal relationships. And now people don't like you and you're always pushing and shoving and up. And so I said, that's a good topic to write about because I never write topics just about anything. I'm not a random writer. I'm always writing about something that I have something passionate to say about it. And control right now, we got kids that got cell phones and they are in control of the cell phones and control of social media. And now you taking it away from punishment. And so everybody women are making more money now. They got more power. They want more control over everything. Everybody wants more control and it spazzes everybody out when you can't have it.
You put a lot of thought into this one.
Yeah. Awesome. I always do that. Every book I've ever put out, I put a lot of, I don't do random books. I don't just, oh, I had this character in my head. I don't do that. I come up with stuff that really affect our community and stuff that I feel passionate about. And like
Yes.
I said, I had no control out of Hollywood, but it was driving me nuts, boy. Oh, this daggone Hollywood place. And so I said, I got to write about having a lack of control and what it can do to you, because you can be a successful person and still be stressed out because you're trying to control something that you have no control over. Even your kids. It took me like 2 years to get my son back up to Philadelphia because he's grown now and he got a job. So I couldn't control. But when he's a kid, look, we going up to Philadelphia. You throw him in the car at 12 years old and you take him up to Philadelphia. But at
Mhm.
25, I can't throw him in the car anymore. He's a grown man. So now I gotta negotiate with him to see when he can go. And so yeah, those control issues, all of us have different control issues that we have no control over, and then you can spaz out with it. So yeah, I wanted to write about that so we all can look at the mechanisms of control and how we can get out of whack with it.
So now this book, does this center around a specific character who's lost control?
Yeah, we have a therapist, or what they call a counselor. She
Hmm.
hasn't lost control, but she wants to be in control. Professional people, you walk into their office, they got things where they got things set up, they got a certain schedule, they got, that's control. I control my schedule, I'm the boss. And she has 6 clients that all have control issues in Atlanta. And so she goes down there, and each client, she breaks them down and she's trying to help them. But just because you're trying to help somebody don't mean that they're gonna do the things that you ask them
Exactly.
to
You're
do.
not going to accept
Yeah. And so I got 3 men and 3 women all dealing with different control issues. So you can read that and pick out what character is closer to you, what character people like, what character is off the wall, what character you like the most, and the whole nine. And so it's a great vehicle. And of course, it's an excellent film vehicle. So when I was writing it, I was thinking about, real life actresses, real life people, real life, comedians, real life musicians that fit exactly what I was writing, even real life directors. And so you in Atlanta, so that's like the entertainment hub. And so 3 of them people were entertainers. I had a music producer, a music artist, and I had a film director. And of course, they want to be in control of what they're creating as well. And sometimes you can't be,
it.
so that's spazzing out. So yeah, I have some great characters in it, and it takes place in Atlanta. And my main therapist is from Camden, New Jersey, which is right across the bridge from Philadelphia. And they wish they had as much control as us Philadelphians, because we in a big city, but they right next to us in Camden. So she got a chip on her shoulder to prove that, she's big time too. So when she come down to Atlanta, she got control issues too. But when she's working with you, she's trying to contain that stuff. But you find out because she's the narrator. And so some of the things that she's doing and saying, you're like, hey, that's a little out of whack right there. But that's a great fun book to read. And it's another movie idea.
Question included in it. So send me a new picture, Tori. Go ahead and just text it to me, and I'll take care of you tonight. Don't worry about it. Um, but that's what we have going on. So without any further ado, let's run on back to Mr. Omar Tyree, and let's go ahead and get some more of these jewels that he's been dropping all night. I've been having a good time. Now, when you did my Black History Month event a few years ago, that's when we did the virtual event.
Hmm.
And we're never going to forget that interview because one of the things you were doing was talking about how, and just like how you talked about earlier today, so many authors out here have great stories that need to be movies, but
Right,
everybody doesn't have the budget to
right.
turn their book into a movie. So you've been going out there pounding the pavement and really ringing the horn to get more books turned into movies.
I haven't done it lately. I stopped doing it because I can control it. So this book is a tantrum. I'm like, I'm done, man. I'm tired of going out there, And then you start getting a bad name because they start saying how pushy you are and how what I mean. You get an attitude, and you're impatient, and then you don't want to compromise, because a lot of times they don't even read your work. And now everybody want 90-minute movies. Now you already know when you write a book, we already got to cut a whole lot of it. You ain't cutting it down to 90 minutes. This ain't no comedy. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on, like the 2 hours, you can't, 90 minutes. But so that's what they, and then they start changing characters and changing scenes. And it's like, yo, dude, if you doing all that, then you're not really interested in the book. So it's just so many different hangups, and then who they want to cast in the movie, and then who they want to, direct in the movie. And so then they don't want you to have any say so. They don't even want you to market sometimes. No, shut up. We got this. You get back to writing the book. You're going to benefit from it. Wait a minute. I'm the creator of this. I got something to say in what you're doing with this. So, and then again, you got my personality, Rhonda. I'm
Yep.
not no sit in the back of the car person. So now I'm like, whoa, you're not going to take my baby and do whatever you want with it. And then you're going to put me in front of the audience. And now I got to explain why you did this and why you did that and why you did this. And I had no control over it. You're not going to get Omar looking like a complete fool. And so now it's a problem because if you actually think about most of the creative people, they are control freaks. Tyler Perry,
That's
right?
why he writes, produces,
Spike
directs.
Lee, Spike Lee,
Yep.
right? John Singleton ain't here no more, but when he was here, he ain't no step and fetching brother. Oh no, no, he ain't. So when you start talking about creatives, they not people that just say, do whatever you do. I'm just happy to be here. No. They want a certain design, certain things that they want to accomplish because they're creators. And I'm the same way. So I can't just give you one of my books and let you do whatever you do with it. And then you put me in front of an audience and I got to explain why you did this and why I look like. And so it's hard, man, to just give up your baby and let them do some incorrect things with it. You got to protect that thing to make sure it's created right and treated right. And they don't want to give you that power. They do not want to give a writer that power. Even with white folks, they will argue with Stephen King, they will argue with Anne Rice, and then John Crichton, he started his own production company to make sure he could do the stuff that he wanted to do the way he wanted to do it. Then
Right.
you got John Gresham with all the lawyer books. Now, am I going to be involved or not? Because these books are complicated. And so, yeah, they try to push you out as an author. And I'm like, wait a minute, I created this. How you going to push out the person that created it? You're not even going to consult with me? So, yeah, it's really hard for us writers out there. Really hard.
She said,
Yeah.
how do you get through your writer's block?
I don't have writer's block. I tell people all the time, writer's block is fear of your own words. Do I want to say that? I don't want to say that. Should I say that? No, I ain't going to say that. I shouldn't say that. If you a writer, you like, I'm going to say it because this is what I got to say. And so you have to be bold and courageous enough to say what it is. But you get a lot of people that stop themselves from saying it. And I say, look, all writers know that we're crazy. So we just go allow ourselves to be crazy and write the book. And then when other people read it, oh my God, I was thinking the same thing. But if you're going to distract yourself and block yourself from writing it, then you never know that other people are as crazy as you are. So people that write all the time, we don't have writer's block. Now, if I need to do research on something because I don't know it left, then I'll go ahead now. I don't even have to leave my house. These daggone cell phones are loaded, man. You Google anything on your phone and computer now and find out anything you need to know. And so, yeah, I don't have writer's block because I'm not afraid of my words and I'm not afraid of putting it out there. And I will defend what I put out there because I'm always doing research and I'm always trying to be thorough. So a lot of times, writer's block comes from you being afraid of what you're going to say and how people going to respond to you. So you stop yourself from doing it. And I said, look, if you're going to be a writer or a thinker or a rapper or a singer, all that stuff, you got to put your stuff out there and be confident. And that's what stops the people. If they're not confident, I don't know about saying this. My mom might get mad. My boyfriend might get mad. So might get. So they don't do it. And that's where writer's block come from. I don't have that because when I put together a book I did, a lot of times it's fiction. So I'm not going to hurt anybody. And I know exactly what I want to say. And if you got a problem with it, let's talk about it because I'm always thorough on what I write. So I don't have writer's block.
Okay, now you mentioned research. How do you
Yeah.
balance research with writing, and how do you know you've done enough research to begin your writing, or whether you've maybe done too much and you're trying to put too much into your writing?
Well, for the most part, it's a ebb and what they call it, ebb and herb, whatever they call that. And it's like,
Ebbs and
I don't,
flows. Yeah.
yeah. So for the most part, I have characters that have nothing to do with the research. But if I'm talking about a woman who's a psychologist, then of course I got to know what psychologists do, how they set up their office, what they talk about, how they, you know what I mean, how their schedules are set up. So I have to know at least that much. But now my character has her own character. So I'm not going to make her mimic exactly what I know what they do, but now I got to create my own character. So you do research enough to validate their profession, then you let them do who they're going to be, because it's still about the person, not the profession. But you have to be on point where a person, if they're a psychologist, you can't be so off the mark where they're like, well, this thing, what the heck is this? So you got to be on the mark, and then you still going back to the characters. And so I always had a grip on the characters, but if they had a certain profession as a police officer or a doctor or, whatever, a teacher, then I had to have enough research to know what they do on that job, so I'm not off the mark with that.
All right.
Okay, now you got it right there. Let me put it in this frame. So that's it. It's a blue book.
Yeah.
It looks like science fiction, but it's a thriller. You know what I mean? That had going that daggone science fiction blue to it with the face on there, and that's the control, and that's the book there. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Omar, for being on the show tonight. I truly, truly, once again, enjoyed you. And anytime you want to come back, all you have to do is just say the word.
All right, thank you. That's only one Omar Tyree on Instagram where you can see everything. And thanks for having me, Rhonda. And I would love to be part of that daggone February show if I'm available. I got to see 20 to
Oh,
22. You already got your lineup,
no,
but
wait.
we'll see.
Look, it's my show. If I want to put somebody else on the show, I can put somebody else on the show now.
All right, so let's see if I can fit in that daggone last weekend of February, unless it's a leap year, because then it'll go up to 29th, right? 28th, 29th. So I guess that would be the third weekend instead of the last weekend, because you
Right.
said,
The
yeah,
third
the
week.
20th to the 20th. Yeah, good deal. All right, so just holler at me and we'll see.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.